Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
This is Kugan Cassius for IFLTV. Frank, you're like gleaming and gloating in one expression.
I'm not a gloater. Much.
To be honest with you, I thought you would have gone worse after your very triumphant night on Saturday night. But you've kind of played it cool a little bit, haven't you?
Not really, it was a fabulous night, wasn't it? I obviously enjoyed it for the obvious reasons, but it was such a great occasion, and it was a really good week leading up to it. It was very competitive, and it was just good fun. I mean, you was there a week. It was good fun. There weren't like no nastiness or nothing. It was a good, a couple of the fighters got a little bit edgy, but it was. I really did enjoy it. I had a nice week, and it was had some obviously a good result, and I think it ticked all the boxes. It was a fabulous concept. Riyadh season, it was another big hit for them again, for His Excellency and Riyadh season, and they delivered again.
Yeah, I think despite all the kind of the stuff with yourself and Eddie, which was obviously I count that as kind of the selling, the show biz, the promoting side of it. But aside from that, the concept worked brilliantly. The fights were very difficult to call. I didn't speak to anyone that picked, aside from Queensbury people, I didn't find anyone that kind of neutral people that picked a complete winning card. It was very difficult. I only got 1 out of the 5 right myself. So that concept that you've hopefully created and are going to use for future shows really shows that, yeah, this sort of thing can work and work very well like it did on Saturday.
It did work, and we showed that. I mean, I'm not being after time. I really did fancy our team from the beginning. My only it wasn't a doubt. What I was interested to see, what Deontay left in the tank. But other than that, I was really confident of all my guys winning. And by the way, and the manner that they won, I really felt that Daniel would stop Hrgovic, which he did. Nearly knocked him out the round before. Nearly got called off then. I was very confident that Hamza would do the same, and I was confident that Nick would win a world title, and I was confident, obviously, of Willie doing the business. Not walkovers, in tough fights. A couple of those fights were very tough, and they were very entertaining.
The 10-0 scoreline doesn't really represent not how close the fight were, but how competitive those fights were. Sheeraz and Williams, Ball and Ford, those fights were kind of, the obviously Nick came out on top of a close fight there, and obviously Sheeraz showed his class to stop ammo in that fight. But the 10-0 doesn't really represent the competitiveness of the fights, does it?
It doesn't, but the facts of life is it was 10-0. I'll take the 10-0.
Yeah,
no, look, they did that. Our guys boxed well. Their guys done well, and our guys on the night, I think, were the better fighters in their individual fights.
Let's talk about Willie Hutchinson and Craig Richards. It turned out to be a comprehensive win for Willie on the night, which was deemed as a 50-50. We know Craig Richards obviously was the more experienced fighter, had been in with the likes of Bivol and Boatsi and these guys. So this was a good win for Willie Hutchinson and a good name on his record now. It
was a good yardstick as well to see, where he's at in his career at this time. He had, when we signed him, I really was impressed by him. I felt he was going to be, going to really do the business. He had that blip on his resume when he got stopped, which was a shock. I'll tell you, the most shocked person in the place was me that night. I really did thought. He had a bad opening first round, and the second round he looked good, and then he just, for some reason, it wasn't what it wasn't meant to be. But he had a few little problems, pulled out a couple of fights, but he sort of got himself regrouped, got himself back together, and he showed what he's all about on Saturday night. And now it's onwards and upwards for him, because the WBO have now put him in a position that he fights for their interim title against Dubois. See, that fight is out to negotiation / purse bids, and that will happen as soon as possible, because we want that, and I fancy him in that fight.
So yeah, that's going to be my next question. Obviously, WBO have ordered now that fight with Buatsi. So you're full steam ahead for that to happen, Frank?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I hope that Josh stays in there. I hope he doesn't pull out the fight, and I don't see why he should. You know, it's a great opportunity. The titles are all at the moment tied up because of the postponement of the fight between Bivol and Beterbiev. That now take place in October, and that mean that, you know, the title's not there to be fought for until next year. So this is time for everybody who's sort of in the number 1 and 2 spots to get themselves into positions where they can, after they settle their business, that they can challenge for those titles. And certainly you're the interim champion. You're there. You're the guy. And if he decides to vacate it, become champion. If he doesn't, he'll have to fight you. So it's a great position to be in for the winner of Willie's fight with Josh.
Let's move on to Nick Bull. After suffering heartbreak against Vargas last time out, again, a very close fight there with Ray Ford. I know Matchroom really fancied Ray Ford in this fight, and quite a few people fancied Ray Ford in this fight as well, but it was to be for Nick Bull, and you can see it very emotional after the fight, and his whole team were, but you could see what that meant to them as well.
Look, he got, you know, his last time round against Vargas. That was a bad decision, and that should have been a unification, and he should be holding 2 belts at the moment. But anyway, it is what it is. Ray Ford's an excellent fighter, really good fighter. I think it was the 2 best featherweights out there, and Nick's proved now he's the number 1 featherweight in the world. Really keenly fought contest. You know, Nick's relentless. I mean, he's got such an engine inside him, and he's all over. And he's not a guy who comes out and feels you out like with a jab and moves. I mean, as soon as that bell goes, you're getting hit with 3 or 4 shots all the time, and he's on you. He's literally on you, closing you down. And Ray Ford had his moments in the fight as well, but I thought at the end Nick did what he had to do, and he won the fight, and deservedly so. So Britain has a new world champion, and I'm delighted with that.
Absolutely.
And I'm delighted for his trainer as well, and his manager Paul Stevenson's done a brilliant job with those guys up there. I'm not being disrespectful when I say it's a little bit, maybe in some people's minds it's a little bit out of the way, but I mean, what he's done and the group of fighters he's got there, they're good young fighters, and he's an excellent trainer.
Yeah, really underrated, I think Paul is.
He is.
Recruiting fighters up that way for a long time now, Frank.
Yeah. He's cool, calm, and collected. I've got a lot of time for him.
Coming on to Hamza Sheeraz, again, another deemed 50-50 fight with Amo Williams. Hamza Sheeraz is really kind of coming through and showing his class now. Obviously, last time out against Liam Williams, this one again was deemed. This one was deemed as a 50-50 fight, but very impressive, and he looks a real force at that weight, Frank.
He is. He's a big guy. I don't know how he fought the weight below for such a long time, which he did. And it's a good place that he's in now, moving up to the division in super middleweight now. He's I've always rated him from day one. I've always, I've really thought he was a little bit special, and he's shown it. And he was in with a real tough opponent. That second round, he got caught with a couple of really good shots. I mean, real good shots, which I didn't want to see happen. But the other side of it is, that he can take a good shot, and not only can take it, he's got the brain, the boxing brain to, regroup himself and work out what he's going to do and keep his composure, which he did do, and got back on top in the fight. And it's a class act. He is without a doubt, one of the best young fighters out there now. Not in Britain, out there, in the world. That was a phenomenal performance, thoroughly deserved. And besides the fact it was a 4-pointer for us, he's now got a mandatory fight for the world title.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about options for Hamza. A lot of talk and speculation about Chris Eubank Jr. Can we address that first, Frank?
Look, I'd love that fight. I'd love it. I don't think Chris Eubank Jr. would have it anyway, but I love the fight. I think it's an excellent fight. It's a great all British fight. You know you're going to get something special like that. That for me is a bit like going back, going back to the Eubank Kawasaki stuff. The younger days and sorry, the Eubanks and Ben stuff. Their younger days and so forth. And I think it would be a phenomenal fight if we could get it on. But I just don't think Eubanks fancies it.
Okay. Is it a case of Eubank looking for bigger names at this point?
Look, he's been, Eubanks has been a contender, next generation, and he's 34. This is the next generation, Hamza. He's not won a world title, has he? You look at his record now, compare it with his dad. His dad had been retired for 2 years by now, and had 20-odd world title fights. So that's where we are. But if he wants to do it, if Eubank fancies it, that's a no-brainer. And if he was to win it, he would replace Hamza as the mandatory. So how much does he want a world title?
At what point, Frank, do you kind of make a decision regarding what route you're going to go down? Obviously, being mandatory is a very strong position for Hamza to be in. So I'm assuming you will take that route.
No rush. There's no rush. We haven't got any rush. We're in a good shape. We had, the guys that we've invested in heavily, in their careers. I don't just mean financially. I mean as a business, we've invested in them and given them a platform. They, over the last few months, a lot of them have started coming through and get themselves into either winning world titles or becoming mandatories or, breaking into the higher echelons of the top 10. They're all doing well. We've got a load of other youngsters coming through, as you know, and guys who are there. We've got some great shows coming up, and that's what we're about. That's always been our mantra, and so our patience and their patience and working together is paying off for quite a few of them at the moment. And with Hamza, getting back to Hamza, I mean, he shows what it's all about, as did Nick.
Let's talk about Daniel Dubois. Obviously, since suffering that loss to Usyk back in last August, his last 2 wins, I'll put him on par with what Joseph Parker's done with his wins over Wilder and Zhang. Dubois has put himself right in the mix now with wins over Big Baby Miller and Hrgovic, inflicting first defeats on both of those fighters to really put himself back into the mix. And we do forget that Daniel Dubois is only 26 years old.
Well, I don't forget he's only 26. I mean, I believed in him from day one, and I sort of stuck up for him when the trolls jumped on him when he had that horrific injury against Joe Joyce. And it was a horrific injury. It could have been the end of his career if he'd have carried on. No doubt about that. And it also shows you that if you do have a defeat or even a couple of defeats, if you keep, if you really want it, you can make it happen, and you learn from those defeats. And he did that. He's done that, I should say. That fight against Usyk. To this day, I know people, are bang on about it. But, for me, that fight should have been stopped. He hurt him with a tremendous body shot. He is a tremendous puncher. Everybody who gets clipped by him will tell you that. He's a very hurtful puncher. He's got fast hands. And I just felt that, overcoming the first couple of rounds with Hrgovic, who, kept banging on about the sparring sessions they had and so forth, and like mentally that it'd be weak because of that and so forth. And Martin Bowers told me they were tough sparring sessions, but it weren't all Hrgovic. He said they went back and forth. And what you've got to bear in mind is how old he was then. He was not. I thought he was younger than it, but apparently he was 19. So he's a baby as a heavyweight, and the other guy's like 6-7 years older than him, a mature man. Daniel's now showing what he's all about. He's showing that if he, he's got a great jab, and if he used the jab more in the fight, I think he would have stopped him earlier. And it was only the end of what round was it? The 7th round was it when he had him in trouble? He was all over the place. I mean, he was only like a couple of seconds away from being stopped there. And obviously, the next round he was stopped with him terrible cuts. I mean, he looked like he'd been in a fight, Hrgovic. He was real bashed up. And Daniel, believe it or not, he had a mark on him. You look at him after the fight; there's not a mark on him. But it was a tough fight at times for him, and he showed what he was all about. And you know, he's up there with all of them now. He's, you know, I would have no problem putting him in with anybody in the world right now. Any of them, any of them. He will learn from that fight. It will make him a better fighter, and it will give him even more confidence. And by the way, fellas, he ain't a quitter, and fellaresses.
Don Charles has had good influence on him, hasn't he?
Do you know that? I was just about to say that. Don's done a brilliant job with him. You know, Martin done a great job with him, and Don's done a really good job with him as well. You know, they're working together as a team, and it's working. His boys work with him. They're a good family, and they've done excellent with him. They've got him, you know, they've got him focused and doing what he should be in the ring, which is winning big fights.
Frank, I know you were on TalkSport yesterday, saying that talks are or have started for a potential fight with Anthony Joshua on September the 21st. I'm assuming, Frank, that this is just a option for the.
It's way off yet. Look, it's when I say talks are starting, we're sitting next to each other. I said, "Do you fancy the fight?" That was the talks. That's how they started, and that's it. I mean, you know, I'd love to see the fight happen. We will see if it can be done. It's you know, to get it done, there's a lot of work to be sorted out. And at the end of the day, look, from our perspective, that fight, we'd have it in a heartbeat. So it's going to be down to AJ. Does he want it or not after seeing Daniel in action close up? We will see.
Prior to the Wilder and Zhang fight, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh had stated that his fight of preference for September would be AJ and Wilder. Now, Zhang has beaten Wilder. I mean, surely Zhang's in the mix for an AJ fight for September as well.
At the moment, there's lots of options, you know, lots of options. And but I did say to His Excellency before the fight, I told him that we would win this, and I did tell him, and I said to him that I said, I'm telling you now that Daniel Dubois will knock Hrgovic out. He will stop him. He will stop him, and he did stop him. And Big Bang Zang, you know, he done extremely well, and it was very sad in some ways to see Deontay. You know, he's a great champion. You know, 6 years as a champion, phenomenal puncher, two of the best heavyweight fights in recent years against Tyson, and I think those fights took a lot out of him. And you know, I hope now he's gonna. I hope he doesn't fight anymore. I think he needs to look for new challenges in life. You know, look for a different direction to move in rather than being in the ring. You know, the better man won on the night, and Zang trained his balls off for that. I mean, he was ultra fit. You know, Big Big Bang. He done the business. China Power done the business. It was just it was brilliant. And he's such a really nice fella, nice people around him. Sean, his coach, done a very good job, as did his management team, the Lane family, who are really nice guys. Sons of the great referee Mills. Let's get it on.
Yeah. Frank, just coming back to Wilder, obviously it's not clear what Wilder will do. I know there's a lot of people saying that he should call it a day now, but do you think that Deontay Wilder will be offered another opportunity in Saudi or not?
I don't think anybody, you know, when you get beatings like that, you just don't, you know, you had two, there's no point. You know, I hope not. I hope not. I hope that's not going to be the case, because I don't think he needs it. He's financially secure. I hope he is anyway. He's had some good paydays. He's made some money. Been a good champion. He's in the, you know, he's done a lot of good things. He's been an exciting fighter, but it's like everything, you know, it comes to an end, and it is at the end. It is at the end. It's a bit like when we talk about Derek Chisora. You know, people say to me, "How comes he's in the ring again?" Well, he's in the ring because he's, you know, they're two guys who, again, are a similar age group, and whoever loses that fight it's all over. It's going to be all over for whoever loses that fight. Their career is done.
We should have to wait and see what happens. Frank, on the plane home, then we saw that video that Mr. Hearn had put up, which you were giving it to him slightly in that. What was the conversations? What was he like on that plane, aside from all that video we saw?
He wouldn't let me into his little cabin thing. He locked it. He put there's all barbed wire around the top. Wouldn't let me in. No, it was good. That was his suggestion to do that, and he said let's do something, and we did, and it's good fun. Do you know what? I really enjoyed last week. I've enjoyed all leading up to this and the last few shows we've done together. But it was really good working together, and I've got to be honest, it was for me, not saying because we won, but before that, I was having a real good time. We went out, a few of us, and we had some lunches, and they were a good laugh. And what we were doing was all the time talking about fights that we can make in boxing, and it's refreshing. And it's a shame we didn't do it before. It's it's taken HE and his vision and so forth to bang our heads together to get us going on it, and we're doing it now. And we're going to make sure that we don't screw it up and keep moving forward and making good fights. And we're going to do another 5v5, and I'm looking forward to that one as well.
Yeah,
keeping up our perfect record.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's again a lot of stuff on social media over the last couple of days. De La Hoya obviously kind of gloating at your 10-0 win against Hearn on social media, but yeah, the prospect of a Top Rank versus Golden Boy could be in the works.
That's up to them if they want to do it. I mean, that's their choice. If they want to do it, yeah, that's up to them. Maybe do one where we do a British one against the Americans, where we can there's loads of permutation. But you know what? I still like I like the ones, I like Queensberry v Matchroom. I like them because I think they're just, well, it shows what they are. They're just such good quality and so exciting.
And to be fair, I don't suppose Eddie Hearn would have an issue with that. It couldn't have gone any worse. So whatever happens, it couldn't actually get any worse than what happened on Saturday. So
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, he could have had 5 knockouts, I suppose.
Well, maybe next time we might get 5 knockouts. Who knows? But you know what? All I know is it's bloody good. It's exciting. We all, and it was great for boxing. And that's the name of the game.
Absolutely. Frank, what can you tell us about the situation regarding Anthony Yarde? We saw a statement from Anthony Yarde yesterday. We saw your statement that you'd put out. What is the situation?
That's the situation. My statement that went out, seen the stuff. They have contractual obligations to us, and we expect them to be honoured. And it's as simple as that. That's my position. I'm not going to get into the detail of it. It's very disappointing we're in this situation. They have a contractual commitment to us. That's not just my view. That's my barrister, leading counsel's view, and we will do whatever we can for our contractual situation to make sure that our contract is honoured. That's all it is. Simple. It's very disappointing, as I've said. I feel very, somebody said Tunde's going to put his side of the story out and so forth. We already done that. He's the one who come out in the first place, on him and Spencer Fearon's show or their show. He put out a statement and then took it down, if you remember. So he's already said what he said, and everything I've done has been in response to what he said, what he put out. So you want to get their facts right. He put something out, I responded to it. That's what happened. And in fact, he took it down. That's up to him. But he posted that, and everybody see it. Anybody who, I've seen it. I know somebody showed it to me again, sent it to me again last night. So enough of the bullshit about I've held by saying my piece. You said your piece, and you put your piece out. But you know what? I don't care a monkeys about all of that. Just all I want is my contracts honoured, Queensberry contract honoured, and that's it. We're all in a different place now, different position. Lots of things have been said, and lots of things, and I say I'm disappointed. But you know that it's like Eric, disappoint. You feel like disappointed, and then you get pissed off, and that's where it's all got to. So I've got to take all the emotion out of it. And as far as I'm concerned, it's business. Business is business, and that's where I'm at. I didn't make this happen like this. It wasn't my doing, and we are where we are. And as I say, you know, history will tell. You know, in a year, 2 years' time, we'll see who, you know, see whether the right move was made by Anthony or not. And if he listened to the right advice, time will tell. Always does. And as you get older, you know that.
Okay, Frank. It's been a couple of weeks since obviously the first show in Riyadh. How is Tyson? First of all, have you spoke to him recently?
He stuck a nice message out for the team.
Yeah.
That was because AJ put his message out. And by the way, AJ, we're not pussies, boy. We're not pussies. You sat at that ringside and you see that Queensbury are not pussies. Tyson put his thing out for us. I've spoken to him a couple of times. I haven't spoken to him for over a week though. But the last time I spoke to him, he's okay. He's in a, you know, I'm going to drive him mad about boxing. He needs a break. He was in training camp for nearly 6-7 months, a couple of weeks out with a cut eye. It's a long time to be away from your family, doing all that thing for both him and Usyk. They both had it, and I think the last thing they want to be at the moment is talking about their fight and who they're, you know, when they're fighting and so forth. Let them chill, enjoy their family, relax. You know, they've got a lot of, you know, let their bodies repair, let their minds reset, and when they're ready, they'll get back in the gym for the 21st of December because they both said that they want the fight. That's the date for it. It's locked in, and we go from there. But I will obviously give them a call, but you know, more about a chat and talk about our 5v5. I'll chat with him about that, and that's it really. But he's you know, Tyson's a very philosophical person, and I mean, you see him immediately after the fight. He said he wanted the rematch, and he said that on a number of occasions since. Where I generally felt he should have given it a bit more time and thought about it. I'm not saying not do the rematch, but he ain't got no rush into anything. But it's done. We're moving forward, or he's moving forward, and we go from there.
Okay, 21st of December, back in Riyadh. So another Christmas cracker. Well, kind of. No Christmas cracker, should we say? Frank, just your thoughts on this. What do you think about Amir Khan potentially fighting KSI? What do you think about that?
It's up to him. If he wants to do it, that's their call. Let them get on with it. They want to make that fight, they'll make it. It is what it is. You know, I've said it on a number of occasions. I'm not a big fan of it, of these type of events, but they're over 21. They're certainly over. Well, he's certainly over 21 now. If they want to do it, they do it as long as they're medically fit and they know the dangers of what they're entering into. That's up to them. They make money from it. That's their choice. You want to go and climb Mount Everest, go and climb it. You want to go and, you know, go in one of those submarines to the bottom of the sea, go and do it. But you know what the risks are, and it's the same when these guys are doing these type of events.
Well, yeah, it's the reports that talks are going on about potential fight with those two, so we shall see. Frank, just a couple of quick ones before I let you go. Zhang, what's the situation regarding a potential homecoming in China?
I'd love to see that happen. I mean, you know, he talks about it. The Chinese ambassador was at the fight, and he loved it. And it would be nice for him, wouldn't it, to to go back to China, Chinese power, and have a fight there. I mean, he deserves it. He's been a great ambassador for them, that's for sure, as a sportsman. I think I was telling you, it was over 100 million or 100 and so many million watched the knockout on I can't remember what it's called in China, whatever the app or whatever it is, and that tells you the interest there. So I'd love to see him in China. I'd love to see him have a fight there.
It's a shame, kind of, we're catching Zhang at kind of the latter stages of his career because
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's no youngster. I mean, he's 41, but and what a lovely fella.
Yeah.
He is such, you know, he's a good guy, and he got right into the spirit of of being the Team Queensbury. I mean, they were right into it. That was what was so good. They was all pulling for each other. First thing, when Hamza, you know, like afterwards, you go and congratulate him after the fight. Now he's just got a final eliminator for a world title, so he's now the mandatory. He's won. He's done. The first thing he said, Hamza, 4 points. And that was like that was, you know, we got 4 points, he got 4 points. I thought, bloody hell, that's.
I think Hamza even forgot that it was double points for a stop.
Yeah. He went back and he was so into it, and it was good. And there's good camaraderie with all of them. It was nice.
Well, listen, it was a great week in Saudi. Like I said, it was great to see. Like you said, there's a little bit of needle, not too much. Obviously, the back and forth between yourself and Hearn, everything was done kind of, yeah.
Well, it's competitiveness. I mean, look, competitive people, competitive company. We're in sport. We want to be the best. We always, you know, we want to do it, and that's what it was all about, Kug. I mean, they, as much as we're all sitting there, you know, having a jolly up, at the end of the day, we wanted a win. They wanted a win because that's the nature of the business. This business is about the winners.
Frank, I've got to ask, have you seen Froch's comments about the event?
Look, you know, flat Earth society. You know, NASA never went to the moon. China, I think, landed another satellite on the moon, didn't they? Yesterday or the day before. So I suppose they're at it, like NASA are at it. Everyone's at it. India, they're all, it's a conspiracy to land stuff on the moon. All that stuff that was orbiting the Earth. All these satellites that enable us to do these calls that are orbiting the flat Earth. I mean, God. And then you want to talk about anything else he's got to say? Do me a favour. As I said yesterday to Umar, he's that fella who's outside. He's outside the house, but his nose pressed up against the window, looking in, green with envy. He's always been envious of every boxer. He's never had a good word to say of any boxer. And I said to him yesterday, he keeps pressing that nose against that window. He's going to have another operation on it.
Okay. Well, listen, it was a great week in Saudi. Obviously, the first week in Saudi was still a great week. Disappointed, obviously, for Tyson, but last week, yeah, it was good. I don't know if Matchroom quite share the same sentiment, but the event was good, but the result maybe not for them.
Yeah, but it's all, you know, it was done in good. Everything was done in a good spirit. I mean, I know for you, like, it absolutely screws your business up, doesn't it? But it was been done in good spirit, and I think
no, of course it. Listen, of course it doesn't. Rather see the fights than the back and forth.
Yeah, rather see the fights than the clickbait.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, listen, no one knows the rivalry of you two better than probably one of the people that knows it better is me over the last 14 years. So, yeah.
Well, it's good fun. I mean, we're all you know, at the moment, all what's going down here is brilliant. It's great fun, and it's really, for me, you know, I hope it continues. I hope it continues, and there'll be ups and downs for all of us, because that's the business we're in. That's what it is. It's that's boxing for you. That's why it's such an exciting business. You know, one punch, one fight, one wrong move can screw things up and send you backwards, can send you forwards, even sideways. But you've got to keep true to your beliefs and keep working and working and working and make it work. And one thing I will say about Eddie, he's a grafter. There's no doubt about that. He grafts. He's continually grafted.
Didn't you think that beforehand, though, even though when you guys weren't talking?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, but you don't, if you don't know somebody, it's like, you know, people on, like trolls, isn't it? They don't know anybody. They just take an instant dislike or a like, and the next minute you're an arsehole. They don't even know you. And I've got to be honest, and when somebody shows me some of this stuff and I look at it, I think, well, you wouldn't even want to know them, would you? If you did know them, they're probably just a normal, you know, pot noodle mob sitting there with in their mums, still up in their mum's bedroom, their bedroom in their mum and dad's house, can't get a life, you know, with the old sock under the bed. That's them, isn't it? That's what they are. For me, I'm a big believer in in, you know, well, when you get to know people, and that's it. It's like you know, when people talk about Saudi, go there. A lot of people make comments about places they haven't been there and seen what's going down there, and you know, it's like people come to London and they say to me now, "Wow, I never knew it was so dangerous," which it is. London's a dangerous place now. I mean, there's just bloody shootings and stabbings and God knows every 5 minutes going on. It never used to be like that. And you know, people form their opinions. They've got their opinions. They're entitled to them, and so forth. But I don't really care. All I care about is, you know, getting back to that question, is that, you know, since we've been dealing with Matchroom, sitting down and talking with Eddie and Frank's, and I like Frank Smith. I think he's got a great sense of humour.
Has he been in the tea yet? No.
Sorry?
Has he been in to make the tea yet?
Well, he told me he's ordered a French maid's outfit, but I said to him, just use the normal one that you've got in your wardrobe. That still must fit you. No, look, it's been refreshing, and you know, like you say with Eddie, like for me, of course he's a grafter. We're all grafters. We work our balls off. You know, our business is not 9 to 5. It's 24/7. Most of the shows are on a weekend, so you're traveling back. You know, you take time out. I've been doing it for a long time. You know, for many years. And I can remember one year we did 45 shows in 1 year for ITV. That was a long time ago, but it's brutal sometimes. But you know, to sit down and then talk and what their views, you know, what their views are about boxing, and some of the things that you sort of agree on, or you look at their thoughts or their vision in a different way, it's quite enlightening. And as I say, I've enjoyed it. I can't say any different. I've had a really good few months working with them, and I have enjoyed every moment of it. And obviously winning the 5v5 makes it more enjoyable, but it has been a great experience anyway.
Frank, did you speak to Jim White after the show?
Yeah, loved it, didn't he? He loved it.
I didn't hear his comments from it, but
no, he loved it. He loved it. He enjoyed it, and he said it was great. He's pleased that he came out there and see it for himself, and that was it. And that's. But you know what? We haven't got to prove anything to anybody. The events stand up on their own. That's the proof is the events. Because at the end of the day, that's what you're buying a ticket for. That's what you're paying money for, to watch it on TV, for the quality of the fights. People don't come to the fights to see me, Eddie Hearn, Jim White, anybody else. They want to watch the fights. And all of these fights, since we've been doing these fights, working over there with Riyadh season, with His Excellency, since everybody's collaborating and putting this together, they've been exceptional fights. Exceptional fights. And whether you like it or not, Riyadh is the boxing capital of the world. End of story. There's no debate about that.
okay. Listen, there's a very few that could disagree with what you just said there, Frank. Do you know, Matchroom have got a press conference tomorrow?
Really, I didn't know. Have they? What are you laughing at? What's it about then?
Oh, there's just rumours. I don't know. There's just rumours. They've got a press conference for Babbage and Johnny Fisher, which is on the 6th of July. But there's just, I don't know, there's just a few rumours circulating.
About what?
Well, just about a Queensbury attack. Like a nice attack, but yeah. That's what we've heard.
No. Look, we're back to business. We're back. We've got a York call. We've got an O2 show. We've got a show up in Birmingham, at the arena in Birmingham. That's what we do. We're on to the next one. That's what we do. Every time, all of us roll forward, keep making fights, putting shows on, and yeah, tomorrow we're going to flour and egg you lot.
Wait, my lot? It's their lot.
Oh, you're jumping ship now, are you?
No. I'm on no one's ship. I'm on my own ship, Frank. Thank you very much. Frank, thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, my son.
Brilliant week last week in Saudi, and yeah, we look forward to. We've got the August card, obviously in America, but with Saudi Arabia, and also October the 12th, we'll see finally see Beterbiev and Bivol.
Looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Now some great fights to come over there, and some great fights here. And it's all, you know, that ripple effect's going everywhere, and we're getting some really good events, not just there now, everywhere. But it gets better and better there. I mean, you know, each time you sort of sit there and think, bloody hell, how'd you make this? How'd you top this one? But keep getting topped.
We'll look forward to it. Frank Warren, thank you very much for talking to IFL.
Cheers, Kerry.
We'll definitely catch up with you again really soon.
Look forward to that, mate. Enjoy tomorrow. Make sure you've got your protective suit on, because there's a lot of eggs coming your way.
Thank you very much, Frank.
See you, mate. Bye.
Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.